Do you realize that Jesus Christ never sinned, never failed, obeyed perfectly? Even though he was perfect, he was put on trial. And yet Jesus Christ, the perfect one, who never fell into sin, instead found himself sitting in the sinner's box instead of being the judge. And though he was not guilty, Pilate dragged him before the people, scourged him and whipped him and said, "Behold the man, this is your criminal." And they shouted, "Crucify him." This is what Jesus did for us. And because Jesus allowed other people to point out at him and say, "Behold the man, this is the one who is a sinner," when he actually never committed any sin, this is how you and I could be forgiven. The perfect Son of God died in the place of sinful human beings so that we could have life. This is amazing grace, and this is amazing love. This is the gospel message. This is where forgiveness flows from. He was not the guilty one, and yet he died in the place of his guilty, so that people who have failed in life, like you and me sitting here today, who have committed spectacular sins, can know the grace and the forgiveness of Jesus Christ. There is no one here today so far gone that God can't save you. Jesus died to ensure that.
Romans 3:21-26. But now the righteousness of God has been manifested apart from the law, although the law and the prophets bear witness to it, the righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ for all who believe. For there is no distinction, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and are justified by his grace as a gift, through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus, whom God put forward as a propitiation by his blood to be received by faith. This was to show God's righteousness, because in his divine forbearance he had passed over former sins. It was to show his righteousness at the present time, so that he might be just and the justifier of the one who has faith in Jesus. Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes.